So I think we are live on YouTube, going live on Facebook as well. And in 1 second, I'll be live on Instagram as well. So I'm going live on Instagram as well. So let me see if everything works out. And we are ready to start. So I'm very happy to be today speaking to you on this live, our weekly live Q&A for Now. I'm Andrea Venzon. I'm one of the founders of Now. And today I'm streaming from a very sunny London, United Kingdom, which is a wonderful exception. And I'm incredibly excited to discussing with you so many cool topics, but in particular today, I would like to tackle with you the main topic that I think we should talk about. The fact that it's incredibly important for people all over the planet to come together and fight back against injustices and to tackle the biggest issues of today's planet. So today my live will be mainly focused on why it's important to be engaged, why it's important to take part in a global movement, why it's important to be part of the new phenomenon that is surging called global politics. So love to have you all in this. I'm just waiting for people to connect on all the various devices. I see that Facebook is already streaming well. I see the YouTube has started. And I think also Instagram is starting. I don't see that well the questions there, but I'll do my best to follow the conversation. So let's get started. Again, I'm Andrea Venzon, co-founder of Now. I want today to address one very important topic for me. That is why on earth any of you should take the time to volunteer, participate, or simply care about what's going on a global stage outside of your own country, your own city, and look beyond the boundaries, the barriers that we've been used to as kids. Why? Because as you might have known, you might have noticed, we are in a pandemic, and we are trying to tackle the biggest threat to humankind, this climate change. And as we speak, all over the planet, democracy is in retreat. And as we speak, governments are sending space shuttle and other very cool machine into space. And there is a high risk that even space will start become a place where national interest and militarization take the leading role in shaping the way we see farther barriers and farther planets from our planet. So it's clear that we are entering into a new era. We are entering into a new frontier. The same thing that we used to think 20 years ago, that if my country is doing very well, I'm happy, do not apply anymore. Even if my country, I'm Italian, my country is not doing very well, but even if my country will stop suddenly to emit any carbon emission, will be championing human rights, and will be committed to ensure that space does not get colonized as new lands used to be 500 years ago, I have absolutely no reassurance that this will not happen overall in the world. Why? Because all these topics that I mentioned are transnational. They are global topics. They are bigger than any single country. And even the most powerful countries in the world, the US, China, and so on, do not have a way alone to influence our own future. The only way to dominate, to influence, to shape these topics that will shape our own life, exactly as the life of our kids, of the next generations, are global in nature. So it's fundamental that wherever you're following this life from, and wherever you are from, you start thinking, oh my God, I actually understand that these big trends in my life can only be influenced if we get together as a human race, as people from all over the planet, and we start cooperating to stop them, or to shape them, or to better them, of course. And this is exactly what we are trying to do now. And now I started 1 year ago, where in a different planet where COVID was still not a major a major factor in our everyday life. But already back then, the people that joined this initial effort to create a global movement understood that there was something bigger than their own passport, something bigger than their own nationality. There was a global conscience to be built, a global vision to be crafted, a global philosophy to be advanced. And this is how Now was born. In the last 12 months, we have launched campaigns on climate, women's rights, democracy, health, pandemics, vaccines, all the topics that are shaping our future. Now has been there. Now has worked to improve the situation. And this has shown that there is a huge potential for people all over the planet to come together and fight back. Why do we have this proof? Because as with a staff of 3 people, very little funds, and a pandemic, we've managed to create a movement that spans more than 10,000 people in 120 countries. And we are up and running to fight for a better future. So clearly there is a potential. Clearly there is something there. And now I believe there is time for all of you following this stream to take ownership and to say, okay, actually, I think I can do something. I think I can contribute to this project. I think that I don't only need to put a little like under the stream, which is really important, but actually I can tell 5 friends of mine that this movement is happening, that they can play a role, they can become a member, and they can help us. And this to say, in all our everyday lives, we can do something to improve the planet. And it doesn't have to be the biggest sacrifice of all. We don't have to chain ourselves in front of the Houses of Parliament. But even just spreading the word that a global movement is coming, and is coming to stay and to change our future, is something. It's going to help the planet to become a better place. And I'm saying this not only because, as I told you before, I believe in this project, but because we are indeed facing incredible challenge. Think about vaccine, COVID vaccine distribution. We all know that sadly today, only 10 countries have received more than 75% of the vaccines doses that have ever been produced. And more than 130 countries never received a single vaccine jab to date. Do you understand these numbers? Do you understand how huge the inequalities we are facing are? History will judge us if we don't try to fix the situation. And to fix the situation, we can come together and, for example, join the Vaccines Without Borders campaign that our team has launched a few days back, and is aiming to pressure big vaccine manufacturers like Pfizer to share the vaccine more widely, so that more companies can produce it, more resources can be created, and more people can have access to the vaccine that we need. And this is just a small example of an action that people from all over the planet can partake in to improve the life of people, not today, not yesterday, but just tomorrow. If we get together, tomorrow can be better. And I'm really telling you this from my own experience. I didn't know I could influence vaccine distribution. I always read this news and I look at newspaper, and there are these terrible news where I see no one is receiving vaccination in a particular area of the planet. And I'm like, oh man, this is so sad. How come today's in 2020? We're already seeing so many pandemics. We have social media to show that it is not right. We know what's going on the ground. How come we do not manage to share vaccines with one another? And it really outraged me. It really, really filled me with rage and really showed me how much our world is still unjust. And to make the wrong right, it's up to us. Governments will not do it if we don't pressure them. Major producers will not ramp up their capacity to include more low to middle income countries in their production if we don't pressure them. And the power to change these wrong things lies in our own hands. Lies in the fact of going on a website and signing a petition. Lies in the fact of showing up to an action on the streets and really, really take a stance on the fact that all people on the planet have the same rights that I have to receive a vaccine. This power is in you following this stream. is in me, is in all the volunteers of now joining every day our work, our activities, our forum to really shape a better future for all. So Vaccines Without Borders is just one of the campaigns that we are championing, and I think it really embodies the message you're trying to bring as a global movement. But there are many others on democracy. You're probably following what's going on in Myanmar right now. There is a crackdown from the military that has removed the elected government and the elected representative and is completely clamping down on human rights. There is no justification for that to happen. There is no justification for people from Myanmar to suffer this destiny. And there is no justification for our governments from democratic countries to look the other way and do not try to stop this injustice through sanctions, diplomatic interventions, and anything that is needed to safeguard freedom and democracy in Myanmar. However, it's not happening. Only 3 countries to date have issued some sanctions, and many others, yes, they might have issued a very weak condemnation, but nothing more is happening. The cool thing is that it's in your power to change this as well. It's in your power to, for example, join our action this Friday called Fridays for Future. Fridays for Freedom, Fridays for Future is the climate fund which we inspired from. Fridays for Freedom, to fight back and really ensure that governments from all over the planet join our call for action, create an international coalition to protect democracies and fight back. Sorry, I was trying to read the comments, but I'm not sure that I read them. I'm going to read them after my statement. My request here is very simple to take action. Is as simple as showing up into a small gatherings in front of a government building or signing a petition online. And it's fundamental that more people join this quest. So please check out our Wave of Freedom campaign as well that my team is posting under the live, and make sure that if you want to have an impact on what's going on in Myanmar, in Hong Kong, in Venezuela, in Belarus, you really partake in this action. It's simple, it's fast, but it's powerful. We have a chance to change our own destiny. We just need to grasp it and do our best to change the way the future is shaping. I'm going to now read a few comments that I see. I think a lot of support for our vaccine campaign. I see a lot of people waving. That's very good. So vaccine, freedom, and we go beyond that. We're going to soon start a big campaign on economic inequalities for the youth. We're going to start a big campaign on climate, all topics that can really change our lives. And of course, now is not the only place where you can shape your future. You can join many other cool organizations and campaigns, but please do that. Don't stay idle. Don't stay on your sofa. Don't forget about the big problems that are crossing this planet, because it's really in our power to do something about them. And with these words, I want to mention an example. Only a few months back, when we started our campaign on democracy in Hong Kong, I remember a friend of mine from China telling me that they really didn't understand the campaign, they were not really behind it, and a bit disengaging with the topic of democracy as a whole, which obviously understandable when you come from an authoritarian country itself. But because of our constant push on the topic of democracy, and because of our constant work of bringing the voices of those that are oppressed to the ear and the eyes of our followers, this person changed his mind. This person changed the way they see democracy, changed the way they see the struggle in Hong Kong, and from mainland China, shifted completely perspective and now supports the Hong Kong struggle. This is just an example of the power of campaigning, advocacy, and ensuring that the lives and the voices of those that are oppressed are not left behind. So with this final call to action, I ask you, all of you, to follow our work, to join our campaigns, and ensure that exactly what happened with my friend from China happens with people all over the planet, around you, at your dinner table, in your office, in your family. Make sure that they hear about the injustice going on all over the planet and the role that any of us can play in fixing them. Because if you do so, if we all do so, we're going to be halfway through solving these monumental injustices that we're witnessing. Thank you so much for joining this live. Thank you so much for keep on following our work and now. And I really hope I'm going to see you Friday for our online protest, Fridays for Freedom. We're going to have a very exciting chat with the leading Venezuelan activist and professional, the coordinator of Amnesty Americas. So super interesting topic, democracy and freedom in the Americas. Please, 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 please join us and see you on Friday. Thank you so much. I'm trying to end the live.